So now there was one possible bright spot in the fact that Donald Trump is president of the United States. Now, that possibility, of course, is getting a deal that not only ensures the safety of Israel, but the establishment of a free Palestinian state. Now, right now, it seems like that is less likely to happen, as Donald Trump, of course, had met with and did a joint press conference with with Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu. Now, this is posted in the New York Times, and of course, they had video and stuff everywhere showing this press conference. Now, one of the parts is that they were speaking about the ways to get peace in the area, in the Middle East, and the idea of a two-state solution came up because that, of course, had been the linchpin of our policy regarding the Israeli-Palestinian conflict. This is something that President Barack Obama, and even George W. Bush had put as a major part of their Middle East peace strategy. However, Trump might be taking a different approach. Look, New York Times quotes, says President Trump on Wednesday said that the United States would no longer insist on a Palestinian state as part of a peace deal between Israel and the Palestinians. Oh, disaster. Here we go. His quote on this, he said, quote, "I am looking at two states and one state. I like the one that both parties like. I can live with either one." You can live with either one. I don't care. All I just want is a deal so that I can say that I made a deal. Dude, really? Man-child. You realize that the Palestinians, their entire goal is to get a state for themselves. That's what they want. Any deal that doesn't have a Palestinian state, they're not going to take. And look, again, this is why we have no peace. Now, look, both parties in this are not going to like a one-state solution. It's not going to work. It's utterly simplistic and moronic. This guy has no idea what this situation even entails. I'm surprised if he read anything about this deal or about this whole situation with the Middle East. Now, the New York Times notes that the Palestinians are highly unlikely to accept anything short of a sovereign state, as I mentioned, and a single Israeli state encompassing the Palestinians would either become undemocratic or no longer Jewish, given the faster growth rate of the Arab population, which, of course, would not be workable for either side. Neither side wants that. So, obviously, what do? Well, Trump doesn't know. Mr. Trump did not address these dynamics, preferring to focus on his confidence that he could produce a breakthrough agreement. Quote, "I think we're going to make a deal. It might be a better deal than people in this room understand." Again, man-child. Oh, please, Donald. Make me understand. Will this deal that you plan on making with, whatever both parties are, I guess, whatever, will it be so good that our heads will spin? Is that, will we be winning so much that we're tired of winning? Because that's what I heard. I heard that, after you won, that the United States, we're going to be winning on everything, so much so that we're going to get sick of winning. And then we're going to be like, man, I am so exhausted of winning. Can we just lose just once? Just once? God. Now, you know who's winning here? The right-wing government of Israel. Benjamin Netanyahu. Benjamin Netanyahu does not want a second state. Why? Because he got into power off the conflict with the Palestinians. The right-wing government of Israel. I'm not saying all Israelis. There are a lot of Israelis that want peace. It's just the ones that right now are in power, the far right-wingers, that do not want peace because that's their power base. They remain in power because the population is afraid. And I understand why. There are a lot of terrorist attacks from Palestinians. But nonetheless, a two-state solution might actually end that problem. And they don't want to end that problem. They want to continue with this conflict so they can keep their power base. Now, Mr. Netanyahu had quickly embraced Mr. Trump's words, saying that he preferred to deal with substance rather than labels in negotiating with the Palestinians. He noted that the concept of the two-state solution meant different things to different people in the region, and he said the Palestinians had refused to recognize the legitimacy of the Jewish state. Well, hey, perhaps, Ben, if you stopped oppressing them, they might be a little bit more reasonable. Maybe if allowing them a state would maybe, I don't know, get them in the mind of, okay, well, you recognize our state, we'll recognize your state. Maybe that could be part of a future agreement if we could ever get to one. But no, of course not. Right now, the Israelis are building illegal settlements on Palestinian land. Now, on that issue, I'm going to give a little bit of credit to Donald Trump. Now, Mr. Trump did tell Mr. Netanyahu to, quote, hold back on settlement construction in the West Bank. Quote, as with any successful negotiation, both sides will have to make compromises. You know that, right? Well, yeah. I mean, look, a good deal is where neither side is 100% happy. So I can understand that. And look, Trump says he's great at negotiation. Well, get to negotiating. Now, he also told an Israeli newspaper last week that more Israeli settlements in the West Bank don't help the process. That's something that I agree with. And that he, quote, did not believe that going forward with these settlements is a good thing for peace. That's, again, something that makes sense. My God, he actually makes sense on this one, at least when it comes to the settlements. Stop building the illegal settlements in the West Bank. Stop. If you're going to get peace, if you're going to try to get peace, then you don't build illegal settlements. You just don't. Now, quote, he also backed away from his campaign promise to move the American embassy to Jerusalem, saying that it was, quote, not an easy decision and that we will see what happens. So look, a little bit of credit on that at least. And look, here's the possibility. Here's where the real bright spot lies. It's not on Donald Trump. Donald Trump has actually appointed Jared Kushner to be able to do this. Now, Jared Kushner, he's a Jewish American, and he actually does want, from what I could tell, and I might be wrong about this, but it seems like he genuinely wants to do a deal where both sides can agree on, and both sides can get peace. Now, if Kushner, who does have the full authority to negotiate on behalf of Donald Trump, if he does this two-state deal, I will, look, on this show, if he manages to bring peace to the Middle East, I will stand up and I will give Trump a standing ovation. Lose half my audience doing it. But that would be a major foreign policy accomplishment, and that's something that I would have to give him credit for. We don't play partisan games here on the show. If you actually do a policy that makes sense, all credit in the world to you. All credit in the world. And I want to be able to do that. I want to be able to give him credit for doing something tremendous. I do want peace. And this is an important thing. This is more important than partisan politics. Okay? And look, the best way I believe to do peace is to give the Palestinians a home. Just like we did, ironically, for the people in Israel. Worked for them. Why wouldn't it work for the Palestinians? Hey everybody, thanks for watching this video. If you want to see more like this, please hit the subscribe button below. And if you want to support truly independent progressive media, please consider becoming a patron at patreon.com/TYTNation.